Hello guys, and welcome to a new YouTube video. Today we are going to be discussing the stories of Sodor Season 5. That mess from actually almost 2 years ago. Now, hold on. I'm just improvising everything I'm saying for this video, so if I say random shit, it's because I improvised it. Anyways, Stories of Sodor Season 5. Yeah, that mess from 2023. So, remember in Stories of Sodor Season 2 after Henry crashed into that goods train? Yeah, and remember how the guard on his train died and Donald and Henry were talking about it? Yeah, so, I guess nobody realized that the plot would come back into play, 3 seasons later, in Season 5. So, first episode we jumpstart with 10 minutes for the runtime of the episode, and it feels very rushed. We start off with Edward talking about, like vandalism and shit that happened on the railway, and then, we finally see Toad and Wendell, and I'm pretty sure William. And conversation between the three is funny. Yeah. Then we find out that the Vandals tagged Peter's tender with something I'm not going to say because, if you saw the episode Vandalism from Season 5 of Stories of Sodor, which is the season I'm talking about in this video, you would know what was written on his tender. God damn it, I need to stop shaking my phone. So, the season takes place in the span of actually less than a year. And, it starts off with a bang. So, turntable gets jammed. I guess before that, Donald or Douglas, I don't remember which one, gets derailed on a crossing and ends up going to the works and meets a new character for the season, Mr. Hall, the chief mechanical engineer of Croven's Gate, I guess. And, and then we find out some vandals jam the turntable at the sheds where the engines sleep, and Henry needs to pull the kipper, but he can't leave, so Jeffrey volunteers to take it. He then crashes and dies. Okay, that was a little abrupt, but that does happen. He derails over a pipe that is shaped like a macaroni noodle, and he tumbles down the hill and dies. So that was an unexpected way to start the season. Because of that and a road bridge, the engines face competition by the roads in the episode competition. And this episode was actually, I think it was really funny. Or, well, I wouldn't say really funny, but it was pretty funny. Especially with the stuff that happens to George the Steamroller and Bulgy. I also don't know why George the Steamroller decided to basically duel Oliver. Because did he not realize that Oliver is like twice the size of him? And somehow, well, I guess not somehow, Oliver gets knocked off the tracks from that. And George, who went on the tracks, tumbled off the tracks too. And George was sent away. And then later, Bulgy got his comeuppance when he thought he could fit under a bridge and didn't. And apparently he was turned into a hen house. Very fitting. So we're 2 episodes in, and it's only been like 20 minutes of episodes compared to like season 4, where you would be like 40 minutes in after like 2 episodes, or 40 minutes into the season after 2 episodes. And yeah. So anyway, if we get to a pretty unrelated story, enthusiasts, we get introduced to a 1-episode character, named Halifax. Yeah, he was a rich snob that caused trouble for the engines, including almost getting run over by Gordon. And later he tries to catch a picture of James going down Gordon's Hill, and hold on. Hold on, I just heard some random ass noise outside. Like I said, this is not edited at all. So you might hear a barking dog in the background. So anyways, yeah, James decides to wish Halifax with steam, and Halifax is unable to see Emily's runaway freight cars heading straight towards him. He is run over and killed. Which, that would later lead to, you guessed it, another pretty unrelated episode. Although, now we get into a pretty heavy-hitting episode for the season, Rescued. Now, we find out what happened to Jeffrey after the crash, or after his death, and he was melted down. We also get a glimpse of, whatever, that smokebox syndrome, I think it was, that was, talked about in the next episode, Preservation, where I think it was either Neil, Clive, or Matthew. Actually, yeah, it was Neil. He called Henry Horace, and I don't remember what the frick he called, whatever his name is, oh yeah, Jeffrey. Yeah, we then get introduced to another character, Barry, who Neil accidentally bumps, with a line of scrap engines, waking Barry up from like a several-year coma. And, so yeah, we get introduced to a new character. He has a freak out. And Mr. Hall, who, yeah, he asks Sir Topham Hatt if he can, use Barry for his experiment, which we don't find out until episode 7 of season 5. But anyways, back to the episode. Later at the works, Barry says hell no, and thinks the idea is ridiculous. And Sir Topham tries to figure out what the hell happened, with, like, why Barry was, sent to a scrapyard. So Barry was being worked on, being repaired, or, well, restored. I don't really know how to put it, but yeah, Barry is worked on getting restored, and, Mickey is saying something to Barry when the alarm goes off. And we find out that Henry got into a near-death collision where he tumbled down a hill. Yeah, his crew obviously died, considering how Henry's tender was, like, kind of in his cab. So, yeah, Henry's crew obviously died. And, Henry almost died. And Mr. Hall had the idea to, find some scrap parts to save Henry. And it works. Henry is at the works until the second to last episode of the season. So yeah, Henry almost dies. And Francis from season 4, you know, the diesel that fell into the ditch like an absolute idiot. Yeah, remember him? Yeah, he's back now. Well, not till a few episodes later in the season. Whoops. But yeah, now we get into episode 5, Preservation. So, yeah, remember that, kind of story back in episode 3 of the season where, you know, where, that guy got run over by some runaway freight cars? Yeah, so, the dude's family filed a lawsuit against the same coal company that, was it Samantha or Kate that worked at it? I don't know. But yeah, the coal thing, the freaking, Marston Heights, I think it was, it closed down, but people wanted a railway there, so a preservation railway was started. And Neil, Clive, and Matthew, turning 100, they decided that they were going to retire and work on the preservation railway. Yeah, you see, the problem with that is, they would have been over 100 in 1965. Not freaking 100. Scarlowe and Renee's would have been 100 in, 1965, but since Stories of Sodor has some weird freaking lore, that is not the case in this series. But anyways, back to the episode. So, a few things happen. Clive and Neil are revealed to have smokebox syndrome, which they recover from. They get repainted, and then there's the end of the episode. Now, Kate goes to work on the Great Waterton branch with Duck and Oliver and whatever the heck the other engine's name was. Oh, yeah, Wendell and William. Oh, and Sheffield. Forgot he was reassigned to the branch line in season 4. Yeah, so, Kate gets reassigned. She goes through some troubles, needs some training. Because of, I think it was Matthew that worked at the, quarry. Or the freaking... It was either the Farquhar Quarry or the Enofa Quarry. But yeah, since Matthew left, a diesel named Mavis was purchased, and she had to be trained on how, like, some of the orders and stuff worked. And, Percy was a little pissed off at first, because he had to do the freaking, shunting there, which later would cause Mavis to become a runaway. Luckily, Toby saved her from crashing. And yeah. So yeah, that basically was the episode. Kate reunites with Thomas, I guess. Anyways, now we get to part of the main plot of the season where we finally get to see Francis again in the episode Experiment. Now, Barry is finally released from the works after the experiment, which was god-awful steam diesel conversion. It was a god-awful idea for stories of Sodor because it's so unrealistic. Why the hell would somebody want to put a diesel engine in a steam engine? And how the hell would that even work? It's still one thing that I'm just pissed about for the series. But, yeah, so Barry has some problems. Yada, yada, yada. Shit happens in the episode. Yeah. And then we get into the episode Revenge, which I guess some people thought some serious shit was going down in the last 3 episodes of the season because there was no intro in, there was no intro in the episode Revenge, and, Edward wasn't a part of the story. Like, didn't even say like he was telling this story. So, we get a flashback to the night that Donald was pulling the goods train that Henry would later crash into. And we see 2 children sitting on a fence watching the train go by, which we would find out to be, Mr. Hall and his brother Sean. And then the episode would go back into the present time of the episode, which was 1965. And we finally see stuff from Peter. Now, he had just been brought back from Railgate at the end of season 4, but we wouldn't see that much more of Peter, especially after what would happen next. Yeah, Peter was feeling sick and shit, and he finally got to pull a passenger train. And after his first passenger train, he was feeling a little sad, I guess. Although he got some photographs with some people who went to get turned around. And some random guy appears out of nowhere, loads a pew-pew, and shoots Peter 3 times in the boiler, which Peter would die. So yeah, there goes Peter, another character that would die. I don't know why. Victor Tanzig just loved killing off the characters of the LMS in the series. Like Colin, Lily, and Adam. All three of those three died. Then Jeffrey, now Peter, and oh wait, yeah. So side note for a second. The episode list for season 7 features an episode titled Tragedy, and the episode after that is Grief. Now, I'm theorizing that there's going to be a deadly crash and another character will get killed off. And I'm just theorizing this, but I'm just theorizing this, but I think Reginald might die. Like, he's been a major staple of the character, wait, what the fuck am I saying? God damn, I'm tired. Yeah. He's been, like, a character since season 1 of Stories of Sodor. And, it feels like he's had a complete character arc. Or, like, a complete character journey. We also haven't heard much of him since season 4 with the episode Relationships, where his brother Randolph dies. Yeah, Reginald, I think might die. Because, like, Victor Tanzig does one thing with this series where, like, a character usually doesn't appear for that long. Or, well, a character just shows up and isn't that relevant to shit. And then dies. Like, a few episodes later. Or a few seasons later. Like Peter, for example. He was finally brought back after season 4, since he was sentenced to railgate for 15 years. Yeah. He wasn't that relevant in season 5 until the episode Revenge, where he died. And Jeffrey, well, he actually had kind of a complete character arc and was kind of falling into the background, especially since, like, season 3 and 4. Well, and season 2. But, yeah, Jeffrey died at the start of season 5, which that was unexpected. And, yeah, Victor Tanzig does stuff with killing characters off. Like, unexpectedly, cough, cough, Thomas. But, yeah. So, I am theorizing that Reginald might die. And I am going to get back to talking about the season 5 now. So, yeah. So back to season 5. So after Peter was at the scrapyard, being broken down, we get a conversation between, Mr. Zorro, who hadn't appeared since Adam's death in season 4. Yeah, he returned for Mr. Zorro returned for a little bit. He was talking to Sir Topham and Mr. Hall. Mr. Hall and Mr. Zorro had a conversation, and then later in the episode we get more flashbacks to Mr. Hall and the I guess like the aftermath of Henry's crash with the flying kipper. Yeah. And as Mr. Zorro is returning to his house, somebody that resembles Mr. Hall comes up and shoots Mr. Zorro 3 times. And we later find out that Mr. Zorro dies. Well, actually, that makes sense that he was dead. He got shot 3 times. And we get a conversation between the 4 remaining LMS engines of the series: Diesel, Donald, Douglas, and Reginald. And they're talking about how first Jeffrey died, then Peter, and now Mr. Zorro. And they hope that they say that luck comes in 3s, and they hope that the bad luck is over. And then, at the end of the episode, we get a scene of a man breaking into the Krasny Kurin munitions factory, which would lead into which would lead into the next episode, Munitions. Oh boy, Munitions. It was really, really inspired by the Tugs episode. Yeah. It starts off exactly like Munitions from Tugs. And the episode, Munitions from Stories of Sodor, it has the intro in it, even after, even after we came from an episode where 2 characters died, and, yeah. There was no intro in that episode, and people thought that, since there wasn't an intro in that episode, there wouldn't be an intro in the next 2 episodes, because they thought that shit was getting real. Yeah, it turns out that wasn't the case. So yeah, we get the episode Munitions. Yeah, we see Francis again. He would later become a main character of the series following season 6. But anyways, yeah. And then we also get to see the return of Henry, who's finally out of the works, and he is alive. But anyways, so, yeah, we hear that, Munitions were still, being, like, transferred and stuff on Sodor. And, yeah, we see, what's his name, Benson barking orders at Thomas, and we then see Eric and Diesel double-heading a train of munitions to Brendam Docks. And we get to see a conversation we get to see several characters there, like Mickey, Derek, Percy, Toby, Diesel, and the disgraceful piece of shit Benson, who the engines thought caused the explosion that would happen, which, yeah. So, Benson started barking orders, bumped into a line of munitions, when the train of munitions next to it started, like, going off, which caused an explosion, and Benson died in the explosion along with, like, 57 people. And, yeah, so pure chaos reigns. Derek's, I guess, motor fails. The engines have to start helping to put out the fire. It's just pure chaos. And Thomas, who for some reason had a tanker, he decides to play the hero and run off with the tanker to get it away. And the petrol tanker caught fire. Oh boy, I wonder what's gonna happen. So yeah, the tanker explodes, both the, Mickey and, some of the engines were trying to put out. Yeah, that ship kind of died. And then the tanker that Thomas was trying to get away, yeah, that kind of explodes. And that kind of leads to, an explosion, leading to the most controversial death in stories of Sodor, which was Thomas's death. Thomas was caught in the explosion with the tanker. We thought he was going to survive because, I mean, 10 Cents was kind of caught in the explosion with the freaking petrol barge that exploded in the episode Munitions from Tugs. Yeah, 10 Cents survived, and Thomas is basically the Tugs version of 10 Cents in the series. So, yeah. So we thought he was gonna survive. We thought Thomas was gonna survive. Nope, he dies. He got caught in the explosion and was severely damaged. And that leads into the episode Fallout. So, yeah. So we get, like, a flashback to the previous day, but with, like, where, Edward and, Terrence and some of the Scottish twins, I think, were, and Mr. Hall, with Mr. Hall announcing that he got his childhood house. And the engines were all happy for him, and they heard an explosion in the distance, thinking that it was a dockside celebration. Little did they know that the dockside was going up in flames, and yeah, they arrived. Thomas was lifted onto a flatbed, looking, well, half his face was gone. He looked basically dead. So Thomas was taken to the works. His repairs were started being worked on, and the cleanup from the munitions disaster was taken into effect. And then we get a conversation at Brendam Docks with Toby, Derek, and one of the Scottish twins. It was either Donald or Douglas. I don't remember which one. And they decide to go to the Kildane scrapyard to talk to Mickey about stuff that Toby just figured out. And, it was going fine. one of the, I'm pretty sure it was Donald that was there. He started talking about how the factory, or the munitions factory, or whatever the hell it was at Krosny Kern, he was talking about how that was kind of known for mishandling munitions. Cough, cough, Andreas's death. So yeah, and Derek said he would like try to get someone to visit there or something. I don't remember what happened. And then one of the workmen discovers a live round of explosives in the scrap remains and stuff. And it was about to explode. The engine's back up. Mickey tries to back up, or Mickey goes to back up. And so does Donald. And then Donald's valve gear jams. And he is unable to move. Toby says he'll get Donald. And Mickey moves in front of, or like next to Donald to shield him from the explosion. Yeah, Mickey dies. And yeah. And at the sheds that night, the engines find out that Donald did survive with like some damages. And then he tells, and then Percy asks about how Thomas is doing. And then we get the bomb drop, basically. That Thomas is dead. Holy shit, that was the most controversial death in the entirety of Stories of Sodor. Like, genuinely. Thomas just dies. And it's just controversial. So yeah, Thomas gets a funeral with most of the engines showing up. Well, the alive engines. And then we get a conversation between, I'm pretty sure it was like Douglas or Donald. I don't remember which one of the Scottish twins it was that had a conversation with Terrence, talking about like the first time he met Thomas and stuff, and then Thomas, or not Thomas, fuck. No, wait, no, it was Donald, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember which one. God damn it. It's either Donald or Douglas. I'm just gonna say one of the Scottish twins, because I don't remember which one. So yeah, one of the Scottish twins realizes something. That Mr. Hall is the dead guard from season 2, Michael Creedy. One of the Scottish twins realizes that Mr. Hall is Michael Creedy's son, and goes to talk about something with Mr. Hall. They get into a conversation. Donald, one of the Scottish twins, is sure that the person behind all the stuff was Mr. Hall. And Mr. Hall says it wasn't him because he doesn't know how munitions works, and that he didn't want to get revenge on anyone because he's not that kind of guy. And then one of the Scottish twins realizes that Mr. Hall has a brother, Sean. And it was revealed that Sean was behind all of it. all the stuff that had happened that year. Sean later broke into the house that Mr. Hall had just purchased, and he looked back at some memories and stuff, and pulled out a pew-pew and pew-pewed himself, ending the story for the season. Or ending the story of the season. And just damn. Yeah. Just damn. So yeah, let me give my honest thoughts about the season. I thought the season was really good before. I was like 12 at the time. But that, like, doesn't really have anything to do with that. But yeah, I used to think the season was good. It isn't. It's just, it has so many problems with it. Runtime for the episodes. Kind of messy story plot. Just stuff like that. And I feel like Victor Tanzig rushed getting it out. Like, he had what was it, writer's block. Yeah, he had that, and still decided to get the season out. And if he wouldn't have, he probably could have taken more time to get the season out, and we probably would have had a much better written season. But that's just like my critiques for the season. Well, some of them. Now we get into my main critiques of this season. The amount of characters that died. Jeffrey unexpectedly dies, although I feel like his character arc had kind of already been done. Like, after, like, season 3. And then, we get, Peter. His character story was not complete, I don't think. And we had just gotten to see him return after he had been in Railgate for 15 years. Which, that was something I theorized would happen back when Return released in 2022. Yeah, that was something I theorized that would happen. I theorized that Peter would return from Railgate, since the episode was called Return, and it takes place 15 years after Peter was sentenced to Railgate. See, I theorized he would return. He returned. And we get, like, a few lines from him in the episode Vandalism, and then we don't see anything of him until episode 8, Revenge, where one of the victims of the hospital he blew up, that the guy takes a gun and shoots Peter, who Sir Topham thought it took more bullets to kill an engine, and we find out that Peter had metal fatigue. Would have been better to know earlier this season. Maybe we could have had a better plot and something to do with Peter. Like, maybe him getting sick or something and not realizing he has metal fatigue. Why? I wish we could have had something about that. But yeah, Peter dies, and Mr. Zorro dies in the same episode. We had seen him like twice since season 3. Since in season 3, Mr. Zorro had to retire due to cancer. And chemo, I think, was the treatment he went through. And he returned for Adam's final firing in season 4. And we didn't see Mr. Zorro until episode 8 of season 5, Revenge, where he would show up for a little bit and then got shot dead. And then we get Benson's death. Oh, Benson was a piece of shit, and honestly, I'm glad he died. He kind of deserved it after, like, the shit that he was saying, making fun of Colin's death back in Stories of War, that miniseries, and Benson just being an asshole to Stanley. And yeah, Benson just honestly deserved to die. He was also kind of useless in the series, besides being a somewhat recurring, like, kind of antagonistic character for the series. Yeah, Benson was basically that, appearing back in season 2 for the first time. And we all started to hate him, probably. I mean, there could have been some fans of the series that actually liked Benson. I didn't. But yeah, and then we get into the most controversial death of the series. Thomas. Thomas's death was the most controversial out of every death in the whole series. Because, like, why would you kill off a freaking TV series character? Like, seriously. I get it's his universe. I mean, I've seen, like, other freaking Thomas YouTubers, like Trains for Days, his series, Sodor, Dark Times, The Frenzy Payback. In that series, Henry dies. And, like, actually several engines die, including Oliver. Whoops, I just dropped my phone. Yeah, I'll get into that series another day, or another time. But yeah, I didn't expect Thomas to die. Yeah. It was just so unexpected. Well, when I first saw the episode of Stories of Sodor Munitions, right after that, they, like, freaking went on to his Patreon, and did the subscription thingy for it, and became a mainline engine tier, just so I could see the episode. Yeah, I didn't go, or I didn't, like, just freaking cancel the subscription after that. I'm still on his Patreon. But, yeah, Thomas's death just, but it was handled decently. Not very well at first until season 6. but it was handled at least better than, like, Jeffrey or Peter. Which I will talk about season 6 in my next video, which I'm probably going to record after this, and after I deal with some, me stuff. But, yeah. So, Stories of Sodor was just, season 5 of Stories of Sodor, it was just pretty controversial, like, among fans of the series. I can kind of understand why some people probably left the series or stopped watching it after season 5. But I just seriously wish, like, the series could go back to the quality of, like, how much it had in season 4. Because season 4, in my opinion, season 4 was, like, one of the best seasons of the series. Besides season 3 and season 2. And, you know, kind of season 1. Yeah, we came from, like, a pretty good season. Season 4 part 2. Then, like, back in 2023, we got season 5. And, yeah. Huge drop in quality. Seriously huge drop in quality. No previews. We got several characters killed off, which most of them besides Thomas had to do with the LMS stuff from, like, seasons 1 and 2. But, yeah. So, yeah, that was, like, my honest review about season 5. And, yeah, I'm going to deal with some, like, me stuff. And then I'm going to start recording the season 6 review. So, yeah, the video will probably be releasing, like, I don't know, maybe, like, the week after this video. But anyways, goodbye, and peace out. Holy shit, 53 minutes. I wasn't expecting this video to be that long.